Right. So we say that how Duryodhan fell and then Draupadi laughed at him. Draupadi also said that the son of a blind, no, yeah, the son of a blind is also a blind, right? And this is how he felt. Duryodhan felt insulted, and then he decided to take revenge, right? But toujours, maybe we can see that in the perspective of karma, that is it okay to laugh at someone when someone fell? Bon, dans sa case, il tombé. But when someone is going through a bad time, falling is like a bad time. So should we laugh at the person or should we take care of the person? Should we do something good for the person? Right? Et aussi c'est reaction, parce que when Draupadi laughed at him, Duryodhan reacted. How he reacted, he promised to take revenge. No? So taking revenge is not a solution for anything. Lui aussi, dans sa sens-là, you can think about it. So Duryodhan invited the Pandavas for the game of dice, and they lost everything. Yudhishthir put at stake all his wealth, his money, his property, his palace, his animals, himself and his brothers, and finally, when nothing was left, he put at stake his wife, Draupadi. Right? Now, had he the right to do so? A big question mark. When we get married to someone, is it that we own the person? Do we own the person that I can decide for the person or not? You need to think in that perspective as well. Now, for me, we do not own anyone. We do not own anything. Yudhishthir had no right to put at stake his brothers or his wife. In this case, we are talking about Draupadi. So Yudhishthir had no right to do so, right? And Draupadi was dragged in the court by Dushasan, one among the Kauravas. And there Duryodhan ordered her to sit on his lap. Now remember, Draupadi was the sister-in-law of the Kauravas. Kaurava and Pandav, they were brothers. Who's that? No? So Draupadi was the sister-in-law. And it's not right to behave with a sister-in-law like this. Normally, the sister-in-law is like the mother. Pareil comme Ram, Lakshman, and Sita. No? So Draupadi had that position, but she did not get that respect. And she was dragged in the court. Dushasan est par ses cheveux, right? And Duryodhan ordered her to sit on his lap. When she disagreed on sitting on the lap, and then Duryodhan ordered Dushasan to disrobe Draupadi in front of everyone present there. When I say everyone, it includes Bhishma Pitama, it includes Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra was blind, yes, but he knew what was happening there, parce que tous les temps, il a avec lui Sanjay. Il appelle Sanjay, who always tells him what's happening, si jamais il pas comprend what is happening. So, in front of everyone, including these two persons, qui fait un peu mention ça de là, and c'est Dhritarashtra, he is the king, il est encore the king. The king should have the power, should have the authority, but he did not have it. And Bhishma Pitama, being the eldest, really supposé an authority encore, but he could not do so. He could not stop it. Parce que it was difficult to stop Duryodhan parce que so father Dhritarashtra titulating in favor of Duryodhan. Il a accepté tout ce que Duryodhan fait parce que Duryodhan was comment so eldest son, the most lovable one. Right? So he was blind in the love of his son. And actually, when Draupadi was being disrobed, no one helped her. And this is when she asked help from Krishna. And we know how Krishna helped her by increasing the length of her clothes, of her sari, where Dushasan got tired disrobing her. Right? Now, South is a law of karma here. And an important point here is bhakti. You know, when you think of God, you pray Him, He's there. This is bhakti. You always get the reward of bhakti. Secondly, this is karma. How? When Krishna got wounded in his hand, Draupadi, who was the friend of Krishna, she could not see that Krishna was wounded, was bleeding. Donc, qu'il était fait, elle était déçue, elle would se sari, from her sari. Et il ça dans la main, like a bandage in the hand of Krishna. Right? So, a good deed, c'est qu'il fait, helped her in this difficult situation. Again, law of karma. So when all these things happened, after all these things happened, then Draupadi was about to curse the Kauravas, where Gandhari stopped her not to curse the Kauravas. And she agreed, she did not curse, but she was wounded. You know, in Veda, it is said that a place, a house where a woman cries, God does not live there. There's no happiness there. So here a woman has been disrespected, has been disrobed, right? So the downfall of those person really obligatoire then, right? So at the end, Dhritarashtra then convinced Duryodhan to return everything to the Pandavas. You know, après tout ça là, fini arrivé là, even the disrobing, disrespecting of Draupadi. And then finally, everything was returned to the Pandavas. It's basically useless, you know, when you lost your dignity in front of all these people, et finalement, retourne tus affaires. Qu'il retourne your wealth. Tu perds your wealth, Indraprastha, the palace. But can we compare dignity, honor to material things? No, we can't. We may get the palace back, but that dignity, that honor we lost, it won't come back, right? So everything was returned to the Pandav, and the Pandav went home. Now Duryodhan invited them again for a second game of dice. Duryodhan invited them again for a second game of dice. And here there was a condition. The loser of the game of dice will go in the forest for 12 years, and 1 year they should live incognito. That is, no one should be able to recognize them as the Pandav. If ever during that 1 year, anyone recognizes them as being the Pandav, they would have to go to the forest again for 12 years. Actually, Duryodhan pensait qu'il peut faire une conspiracy to keep the Pandav away so that he could get Indraprastha, he could get their money, their property, the palace. So they went again for the second game of dice. Now, was it important to accept the second game of dice? No. You know, Chanakya is a sage. You can Google about him. Was a sage. Chanakya has said, a place where you have not been honored, you should not go there twice. I mean, for a second time. Bon, in his own words, but it's like that. And parce que nous pas gain respect, we should never go there. Even we should not eat at a place que nous pas gain respect. Right? So the Pandav, why was it important for them to go again for the second game of dice? It wasn't important. But why they accepted? Because of Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir said that let's accept the second game of dice. Everyone else, they disagreed. This Yudhishthir Jalipwale, so that he could prove he was not a coward. So why do we need to prove? Il n'est pas important to prove someone something, especially to those people who do not respect us. Duryodhan, the Kaurav, they did not respect the Pandav, right? But eventually, Yudhishthir decided they had to go, so they went. And when they played the second game of dice, the Pandav, they lost the game of dice. And they went to the forest for 12 years, plus 1 year incognito. If you remember, I was telling you Arjun. Quand Draupadi and Yudhishthir were together, Arjun disturbed them, and Arjun was cursed. He was cursed, and he was also cursed to live as a woman for at least 1 year. That curse became fruitful in this 1 year incognito. They were living in a kingdom, somewhere in a kingdom. The Pandavas disguised themselves. Draupadi became the maid of the queen, the maid of the queen. Yudhishthir was playing the dice with the king, the entertainer comes in. And Arjun was teaching dance to the daughter of the king. And c'est ça, I'm quickly vive as a woman là. Et Nakul et Bhim. Bhim was the cook. He was cooking and was the cook. And Nakul and Sahadev, they were taking care of the cattle, of the animals and all. So Sakantina and Bhava, they were living in 1 year for incognito. Right. Now, during the 12 years, many events happened. We'll see that maybe next week, part 2, but few of them, whatever happened. And they learned things. They got the blessings of Krishna within those 12 years. They also prepared themselves for the future. Parce que they knew that after the 13 years, 12 plus 1, 13 years, when they returned, dans the kingdom. And they knew that Duryodhan was not an easy person qui pour retourne them in their kingdom. So if that happened, war should happen, will happen at that time. So they were preparing themselves for that. And also living in the forest means a life of brahmacharya. Brahmacharya Vidya, having complete control upon the mind, control upon the senses, right? So they lived there 13 years like that. After 13 years, when they returned, they claimed their kingdom, that is Indraprasth, but Duryodhan was reluctant to give them the kingdom. You have Krishna here. Dans tout ça, Mahabharata, Yarvela. This is where Krishna actually personally comes. About that, he helped Draupadi, for example, but he was not present there physically, right? So this, as from then, Krishna manually intervenes, right? Krishna went as a peace messenger to Duryodhana to ask him to return the kingdom back. Parce que the game of dice, the second game of dice, the condition was 13 years in the forest, et quand il retournait, il gagnait tout. That was the condition. But Duryodhana was not willing to do so. Parce que Duryodhana actually, qu'il y pensait que sa one year incognito là, he would go somewhere, he would try to recognize them. Et quand il peut recognize them, the Pandav would have to go again 12 years in the forest. So like that, he would be able to keep them away, right? So that was the conspiracy of Duryodhana. So Duryodhana was reluctant to return the kingdom, where Krishna intervenes as the peace messenger to tell him to return the kingdom. He did not agree. Krishna also told him that to give at least 5 villages to the brothers. Each one will rule on one village, in one village. This also he disagreed. Duryodhana disagreed. Right? He would give no land, nothing to the Pandav. And thus then the war became inevitable. They had to have to fight to get their right back. So why did they fight? Why did they fight? Sorry. Why did they fight? C'est to get their right back, premièrement. To get their right. Parce que whatever is yours, you should get it, no? Now, bon, malgré qu'il est material, livré qu'il est material, but it was theirs, no? So for the Pandavas, so they had to fight to get it. We should not let things go like that. We should fight for our rights. Okay. And then they went for the war. The Mahabharata war happened. The war lasted for 18 jours, 18 days. And at the end, of course, of the Mahabharata war, we know that Duryodhana and his brothers, they died. Mais aussi, durant sa war-là, the sons of the Pandav, we'll see that in details next time. The sons of the Pandav also died. You know, almost at the end of the Mahabharata war, Duryodhana sent someone to kill the Pandavas secretly when they were sleeping, which is definitely against the code of war. La personne est venue, il fait travail là, but he did not kill the Pandav. He killed the 5 sons of the Pandav. So this way, the Pandav lost the 5 sons. Et il y a aussi Abhimanyu, who died. Abhimanyu was the son of Arjun, right? Of Arjun.